Welcome to the Leaderboard. Talking golf with Bill Bona, Ian Davies, JP Marks, and Kenny Nairn. Go inside the tours, find out about the latest equipment, and get tips from the experts. Plus, these guys are talking with some of the biggest stars in the game, all live from Celebration Town Tavern.
Hi, this is Bo Weekly.
Hi, this is Jim Furyk.
Hi, this is Rocco Mediate.
Hi, this is Trevor Immelman.
Hi, this is Zach Johnson.
Hi, this is Woody Austin.
Hi, this is Paul Carrington.
Hi, this is Corey Pavin, 2010 Ryder Cup captain.
You're on the Leaderboard on ESPN 1080 WHOO.
And we're back. Welcome to Season 5 of the Leaderboard on ESPN 1080 The Team and streaming live at leaderboardradio.com. If you've been with us before, welcome back. If you're new to the show, it's an hour of golf, more golf, and anything even remotely related to golf. Our presenting sponsor is Carl Black, Chevrolet Buick GMC. Omar and the guys are back for another year, and so are we. I'm JP Marks, along with Bill Bona, Ian Davies, and the man I like to call our panel of expert, Mr. Kenny Nairn. Our special guest tonight, 2010 U.S. Open champion Graeme McDowell. GMAC, kind enough to join us on the patio at the Celebration Town Tavern tonight. We'll get to Graeme in just about 10 minutes. We'll have updates on the Hyundai Tournament of Champions. Right now, Steve Stricker by 3 over Jonathan Bird. And this is how it goes Monday nights on the patio. We've got trivia. At 7:35, we'll have the Town Tavern trivia question. Prizes, news, notes, that comes from us. On your end, feel free to give us a call. Let's talk a little golf with GMAC. 407-482-3776. Toll free 877-380-1080. Those are your numbers. First, as we do every Monday night, we're giving the house away. It's the Leaderboard Superfecta. Free beer, free golf lessons, and food and drink from Billy B and the folks at the Celebration Town Tavern.
Free beer, it's easy to get. Come on down to the Celebration Town Tavern. Bring me a bag tag off an old golf bag. I'll trade it out for a nice cold Samuel Adams product featuring this month chocolate cherry Baki. And you know why we're doing that? Because Samuel Adams is the official beer of the Leaderboard.
Yeah, asked him not to laugh. and it wasn't
I didn't even get it out of
your mouth.
Yeah. I can't help myself. Free golf's available on our website, leaderboardradio.com. Register on our homepage for a free foursome to one of our partner courses in Central Florida, including, I have to take a big breath for this because Celebration Golf Management is expanding rapidly, including Celebration, Stony Brook West, Legends, Kings Ridge, Golden Bear at Keens Point, Solavita, Eagle Creek, and Redtail.
Is that it? Is that it?
For the moment, as I understand it, that's it.
Well, Ian, thank you. And McDivot is live on the patio this evening here at the beautiful town of Celebration. And Billy, JP, Ian, Matty, Happy New Year to all you guys.
And you, my friend.
Thank you. We have a special guest this evening, and no McDivot tip of the week apart from right now. I spoke to Mr. McDowell, who's going to join us very shortly. McDivot's tip of the week is why don't you go ahead and get your putter fitted? One of our sponsors is Ping. They have a great app out there at iping.com. It's free, and go ahead and get your putter fitted, for goodness sake. Mr. McDowell chokes up on his putter just a little bit, couple inches, gets some comfort there on the long putts, and grips it a little bit closer down to the leather, as they say, for the short ones. But the biggest thing is, let's go ahead and start off the year and hold some more putts.
McDivot, me boy. Thank you very much. And to round out the Superfecta, we will have Town Tavern Trivia at 7:35. Our friends at the Celebration Town Tavern right here on Front Street in downtown Celebration, where they tell me I had a great time. Isn't that true, Billy?
Here, here.
All right, Graeme McDowell up in just a few minutes. First, we'll go to Ian for the tee sheet and the news.
Well, the tee sheet you covered adequately, so I'll move straight to the news. In what is a just regular Friday night occurrence for the Leaderboard, PGA Tour player Jeff Overton faces charges of resisting law enforcement, public intoxication, and disorderly conduct after Bloomington police said he would not stop yelling at people from the passenger seat of a limousine, according to a report in the Bloomington Herald-Times. Overton, 28, who played golf at Indiana University, appeared at Assembly Hall during the Indiana-Kentucky basketball game to present a $50,000 check to the university in support of the Play Golf America University program.
Did he sit next to Ashton Judd by any chance?
Apparently he ran amok after that.
Running amok, yeah.
So 3 misdemeanors.
Wow, you think they'd give him a break in Bloomington, no?
Well, apparently.
Apparently not.
I read the whole article.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just wouldn't stop.
Really?
Yeah, he started, whatever.
Did he say, boom, baby? He did one of those?
He did a lot of stuff.
Maybe that's why they cuffed him.
Yeah, well, there was a whole thing, and I won't get into that. Anyway, that's that. Paul Casey dislocated his right shoulder while snowboarding in Colorado, sidelining him for the first 2 months of the year. He said he doesn't need surgery and should be back hitting balls in a few weeks. He apparently was the only one that found snow in Colorado.
Snowboarding for Casey and paddleboarding for Lucas Glover.
That was my next one.
Yes.
Yeah, Lucas Glover withdrew from Kapalua after spraining his right knee while paddleboarding. Now, that makes it the second year a player had to withdraw after getting injured in the ocean in Hawaii. Jeff Ogilvy cut open a finger last year.
He did.
What's next? The worst kept secret in golf. Bill, isn't a secret anymore. Tiger Woods announced on his website today that he'll be back to play his first PGA Tour event of the year at the AT&T Pebble Beach National Pro-Am on February 9th.
Been a while.
With Tony Romo as his am partner.
Nice.
Because he's not playing football anymore.
No, he isn't.
Tiger, as we know, won the Chevron. Bill, you're happy to hear about that, is now 23 official world golf.
I just was going to say, I'm glad we were off the air. I postponed a beating.
I called him 4 or 5 times. He wouldn't answer the phone.
Okay, a notable tweet over the holidays from Ian Poulter included a picture of his new Rolls Royce his wife bought him for Christmas. I think after the break we'll ask Graham what he got for Christmas.
Sure, I'm sure he'll be glad to share that with us.
All right, moving on. Go. Former President Clinton did some arm twisting. Greg Norman, Phil Mickelson are in the Humana. They would not normally be trotted out this time of year. But
when Bill calls, people answer.
Because he's a fun guy, right? Plays a little saxophone.
So they say.
Well, we won't go into that anymore. Luke Donald, double money list winner.
The double.
And that's pretty good. According to Darren Clark.
About as good as it gets, wouldn't you say?
It'll never happen again, according to Darren Clark, and I tend to believe him.
Yeah?
Don't disagree.
Don't like the odds of that happening again? Perfect storm, you think?
Really?
Well, look what Luke did at the end of the year.
Well, has anybody ever come close to doing something like that, Kenny? Because Bill and I don't pay much attention to what's going on that other list.
You better start, buddy.
Yep.
Because you got a Ryder Cupper about to sit next to you in about 4 minutes.
I know. The answer to that, Ian, is yes. If Tiger was an official member of the European Tour,
indeed,
way back yonder.
Yep.
But he was not.
Right. He would have won both money titles,
yes,
but
sir.
He did not have European Tour membership.
Correct.
All right, so
Luke and sort of Tiger.
It's a new one.
Sort of.
So we're going to take a quick break now because after that, Graeme McDowell is going to be sitting next to us. So there's a couple of things you need to know. ESPNFlorida.com, you can stream our show live. So you have to use your browser, Mozilla Firefox. Don't use Internet Explorer because it won't work, I've been told. So anyway, let's take a break. You're listening to the Leaderboard on ESPN. We broadcast from the patio of the Celebration Town Tavern.
Coming up
live, like I told you,
coming
at
up.
ESPNFlorida.com.
Better be nice to our European Ryder Cup member.
He went to University of Alabama.
You claiming him?
Yep.
Yeah,
Or golf after these
Alabama,
words.
Birmingham. Get down.
There's a town in Florida where the sun shines warm and unique family events keep it cool. It's a place where you can live it up just by sitting down. It's the Celebration Town Center, a quaint lakeside promenade where getting around is as much fun as getting there. Renowned for its world-class restaurants and shopping, it's all nestled in the harmony of nature in a setting like no other. Celebration Florida. You've got to see this place. For more information on Celebration Town Center, visit us on the web at celebrationtowncenter.com.
From the brand that has won more majors than any other golf brand in history, Wilson Golf introduces the new Wilson Staff DI-11 irons. The DI-11s are the best irons in the game improvement category and feature the widest sweet spot that Wilson has ever produced. If you're looking for maximum distance and forgiveness with a thinner top line than most game improvement irons, the DI-11s will certainly win you over. On a scale of 1 to 10, the new Wilson Staff DI-11 is an 11. To view full offerings of the Wilson Staff DI-11 irons, as well as the entire portfolio of Wilson Staff golf equipment, visit wilsongolf.com.
Whether it's the game of golf or the game of life, there are rules. The Wheelock Law Firm can help you when you find yourself in a difficult or life-changing situation. Don't get penalized because you didn't know the rules. Make sure you have experienced representation in your corner. The Wheelock Law Firm will aggressively represent you and your rights in divorce, bankruptcy, foreclosure, wills, and criminal matters. The Wheelock Law Firm provides prompt, cost-effective, and personal service. Visit their website at wheellocklawfirm.com or call them at 407-648-5742 to schedule a consultation. The Wheelock Law Firm. Your problems are personal, and so are we.
If you play golf in Central Florida, check out the team at CGM, Celebration Golf Management. They now own 5 courses locally, including Celebration Golf Club, where they're building a new teaching and fitting center, Legends Golf and Country Club, with new membership opportunities. Stony Brook West has bunker renovations and unbelievable course conditions. Kings Ridge has a newly lengthened Kings course, and their latest acquisition to the CGM team is the Golden Bear Club at Keens Point, where there are some amazing membership opportunities. If you want to play some of the top golf courses in Central Florida, get up there, play one of the CGM courses today. Check out these guys at cgmgolfproperties.com or give them a call at 1-888-2-PLAY-18. CGM, creating golf memories.
You're listening to The Leaderboard, presented by Carl Black Chevrolet Buick GMC.
They roll out that red carpet for you?
They did, absolutely.
I'll walk around and I'll ask my employees every now and then. I just want to make sure these 2 guys brought their red carpet for them today. They're taking care of it.
Yes, sir. They're doing a good job.
Is your A game with you today as far as taking care of the customers? But what it means is
I will always strive to make
each and every guest
feel like they are the most valuable member of our family.
Because they are.
Because they really are.
It's the red carpet treatment.
Carl Black Chevrolet Buick GMC, located a quarter-mile west of Alafaya Trail on Highway 50. CarlBlackofOrlando.com.
I'm Jim Cook, brewer and founder of Sam Adams, and nearly every day for the past 24 years, I've had a Sam Adams Boston Lager. Rich amber color, and a head so thick you can float a bottle cap on it. I taste a sample from every batch, and I still look forward to the taste of the next one. Ah, delicious Samuel Adams Boston Lager. Cheers.
Boston Beer Company, Boston, Mass.
You got it, man.
Welcome back to the Leaderboard, presented by Carl Black Chevrolet Buick GMC. We're here with you until 8. After that, the BCS National Championship game, LSU and Alabama. Little Led Zeppelin for you. Today's Robert Plant's 68th birthday. Also Sergio Garcia's birthday. We may get to that. We may not. Season 5 off to a great start. 2010 U.S. Open champion Graeme McDowell joining us on the patio. G-Mac, that's your intro, but I have to ask you, I know now that when I speak to or intro Nick Faldo, I have to say, Sir Nick Faldo, and you now are GMAC MBE, member of the British Empire. Do I have to reintroduce you with a more formal title, or can we forego the niceties?
No, we can forego the niceties. Thanks for having me on the patio with you boys this evening.
Well, it's a pleasure for us, and we were just talking about what's happening at Kapalua. 62 for you there in the final round last year, but we know how things go with scheduling and all that. Surely you would have liked to, if you could, go back there and maybe drop another 62 on him.
I would have absolutely loved to have been there this week, but you've kind of got to win one of those PGA Tour events to get there, and
who made up that rule?
That's a terrible rule, but I didn't kind of get the job done last year. It was my first time in Kapalua last year. It's a fantastic place to start the season. It's a little early in the year, considering we all sort of played in mid-December. The first week in January is a little bit of a tough ask to jump on a plane to Hawaii. It's a long way away, but just a great event, just a beautiful place, and I'd love to be throwing another 62 at it right now.
Graeme McDowell joining us on the Leaderboard. You mentioned last season for you, and such a great season in 2010. You win the U.S. Open, of course, the putt in the Ryder Cup, which we definitely have to speak to you about because of the emotion that was involved there. And then you beat Tiger. You won the Chevron, 2 huge putts. So 2011 comes along, and as the season progresses, people say, well, Graeme McDowell's not having such a great year. And I thought to myself, well, let me just look here and see what happened. This is what I've got. Now you tell me. January 2011, Abu Dhabi HSBC, 3rd. WGC Match Play in February, you finished 9th. Volvo World Match Play in May, 5th. U.S. Open, 14th. Dunhill Links is in October, you finished 3rd. WGC HSBC Champions in November, you finished 3rd. That sounds like a pretty damn good year to me.
Yeah. It's funny, 3 or 4 years ago that would have been a great year. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing how expectation levels change. And I got a little frustrated during the year, no doubt about that. Middle of the season, probably the British Open was the low point for me. I thought I was playing beautifully. Had a couple under in the first round and then blew out in the second round, missed the cut, and I was disappointed. And that was kind of the flavor of the middle of the year for me, really. It was the expectation levels were kind of a little too high, and the frustration level was there for me. And I got disappointed a little too quick this year. And I realized that quickly in August and turned my year around and actually had a really strong finish to the season. And I turned a bad year into a mediocre one, and I was pretty happy with that and give myself a little bit of mojo to take into 2012. And I have to say I'm really excited about this year. I'm feeling good, and I'm excited to tee it up in a few weeks' time. And 2010 was always going to be pretty difficult to emulate, and as much as I promised myself I wasn't going to go try and back up 10, you find yourself trying to prove something in 11, and it just didn't happen for me middle of the season. But as you say, it wasn't all bad.
People, and when I say people, I mean media types like us, always want to point to one thing or one thing or another. Two-part question, I guess. Was it one thing that led to your frustration? And the second part of the question is, do you listen to any of us, and why would you?
Well, I'll answer your second question first. Do I read the media? It's a bit like my Twitter account. I read it when things are going well, and I tend not to read it when I've had a bad day, because I don't particularly want to read the bad stuff people are saying about me. And that's inevitable. When you're out there, when you're in the sort of media spotlight, good things are going to be said and bad things are going to be said, and that's just life. And I'm okay with that. And like I say, I'm typically not going to read the bad stuff because it's there's just no need to. It's nice to read good stuff about yourself, of course. Sort of boosts the confidence and all these good things. But what was the first part of your question?
Was there any one thing that you could point to that led to the frustrations, or was it just that the expectations were so high, not only for others but for yourself after 2010?
It was expectations. That was, and no one else's expectations apart from my own expectations. They're the most dangerous. The expectations within yourself. And the season got off to a nice start, like you said. You missed out. I finished third in Hawaii last year in tournament champions as well.
Oh, that's 62. Sorry.
Come on.
My bad.
Give me some love down here.
My bad.
It was my own expectations really between the sort of months of March through August. I kind of had a 4 or 5 months spell there where things just didn't go my way. Led by 2 going into the last round of the Players' Championship and blew that, and blew out the weekend of the Wales Open when leading, and I just couldn't. 2010, everything I touched turned to gold. In 2011, kind of when I was in contention, I'm not sure whether I wanted it too badly or I was trying to prove myself too much, and things just kind of turned to dust a little bit for me, and I got frustrated and sort of lost my swing a little bit. And, it's funny when you lose. I was going to say when you lose your mind, but I didn't lose my mind. When you lose your confidence and when you lose your belief, your game tends to follow, and everything just kind of spiraled. It's a little bit of a rock bottom. When I say rock bottom, it's sort of a new rock bottom as far as my expectation levels are high. I expect a lot of myself now, and that was really. I stopped enjoying myself like I'd done in 10. I'd really just kind of enjoyed my golf and let it happen. And this year I was trying too hard to make it happen, and when you start trying to try less, you're trying more, and you don't realize. It's kind of one of those things. Everything's
it's golf.
It's golf. Before you know it, it's gone. It's out of control, and sometimes you've got to care less to get that control back, and that's kind of what I did the last 3 or 4 months of the season. I started to care a little bit less, give myself a little bit of an easier time in the course, and all of a sudden things start to line up again.
Graeme McDowell joining us on the leaderboard once again. Thank you for your time tonight. Let me just close out 2011 with a question about Luke Donald and his money title on the PGA Tour and the European Tour. Your friend Darren Clark said we'll never see this again. Your thoughts?
Luke Donald's accomplishments in 2011, unbelievable. Very, very impressive to win both money lists. To do it the way he does it as well, He's not a power hitter. He's not the 21st century golfer who smashes it 330 yards and just goes and finds it. He's a real fairways and greens guy. He shows us what is possible if you become very good at what you're good at. He's got a very rounded game, great short game, and a great putter. And what he's did is just amazing. Will we never see it again? I guess the thing is Tiger's done it unofficially so many times. We probably overlooked that fact. Just the fact that Tiger was not a member of the European Tour, it's not an official stat, but he did that 6, 7, 8 times maybe. But we're talking about Tiger Woods, probably the greatest of all time, and he does things with a golf ball that no one else really can. And I look at Luke Donald, and he sets the bar for all of us. He's not doing things with a golf ball that the average person can do. He hits it a mediocre distance, 280, 290. That's mediocre on the tour, and he's just got a polished all-round game, and it just shows you what is possible. So, very impressive. But like I say, the fact that Tiger did it so many times is a bit overlooked.
Graeme, I got too many questions to ask you, but some of what Mr. Marks has already asked you. But let's talk about a couple of different things. 2010, just a phenomenal year. Ryder Cup, I'll say thank you. You backed up my own prediction with my panel of I'll say non-experts, to say the least. But
geniuses.
Yeah, geniuses, exactly. But a lot was said and will always be said from where someone wins a major championship and changes equipment manufacturers. You're a Callaway staff player. You went to Strixon. I believe you backed that up in 2011 when you changed some equipment. You wanted to try some different things and so forth. I think you had a good year, especially as a bounce back from a major championship. But what does 2012 mean to you coming up? Obviously, we talked earlier. You're going to cross the pond yet again. You're going to the Middle East, but Ryder Cup coming up. Is that the main goal for this year, or is there major more important?
The Ryder Cup's a huge goal of mine this year. There's no doubt about that. I put the Ryder Cup, up there as one of the important highlights in my career. There probably will never be a greater moment in my life. I say my life, my golf career, as holding that putt on the 16th green at Celtic Manor, because to share that kind of a victory with 11 teammates, everyone involved in that Ryder Cup, everyone involved with the European Tour. I mean, golf's a very individual, very selfish sport at times. We answer to ourselves most of the time, but for that sort of 1 week every 2 years, you play as a team, and to hold that putt and be part of the winning Ryder Cup team was one of the most special moments of my career, and that's why I want to be part of the team in Chicago this year. I really enjoyed playing Valhalla in 2008. It was probably nearly a more enjoyable experience for me than Celtic Manor was. My rookie Ryder Cup, playing in the States, it's kind of just 80% of the crowd are against you. It's just kind of has that big time feeling, just very intense atmosphere. I love the Ryder Cup, so that's a huge goal of mine this year. But of course, consistency in the major championships and consistency in the big events is what I'm striving for this year. My 2011 season read MC 14 MC in the majors, and that's just not good enough. I feel like my game's well suited to the big events, to the major championships, and I want to improve that stat. That's one of my major goals this year is to compete in the majors at least once, maybe twice, give myself a chance going into a Sunday afternoon, and that's what I'm all about this year. And I'd like to win. I'd like to win in the PGA Tour. That's one of my big goals this year. I want to win a PGA Tour event. Of course, I won the US Open, but I wasn't a member of the PGA Tour at the time. I'd like to win as a PGA Tour member this year, and those are kind of a few of my goals. The Ryder Cup goal, kind of, if I get on that team, I'll know I've played well, and a lot of my mini goals will have been taken care of. So that's kind of how 2012 looks for me. And regards equipment manufacturers and switching at the end of 10, that was a tough decision for me to make. It was a decision that I didn't want to make, but it kind of was forced upon me a little bit. And obviously my play in 2011, a lot of question marks were asked. Is it the equipment? Should I have stuck with my old manufacturer and not gone to Strixon? But I kind of told people that it really is. It's not the arrow, it's the Indian, and that's kind of true in golf, and I cannot for a second blame my equipment last year. It was my equipment was great. It was really just my head, and I'm very, very comfortable with my decision. I'm looking forward to my 12th season.
So talking about the majors, Graeme, obviously got Augusta, same course every single year. I got US Open, PGA, and obviously Open Championship. Livingston Anns, Kiowa. You're from Portrush. Golf ball goes hopefully a little bit lower, but we wouldn't know that with your accent. But
what's that mid-Atlantic twang?
Mid-Atlantic twang, you got it.
Absolutely, got
I can give you some schmuck about that later on. But
I've got enough people on Twitter give me schmuck to believe it. And I deserve it. I'm not.
You should, absolutely. But have you been to Kiowa at all?
You're not far behind me, by the way, with that accent.
Thank you very much.
We were proposing a rule that Kenny wasn't allowed to ask Graham any questions. Nobody understand anything anyone's saying.
Listen, if Graham and I had a couple of more sherbets or Guinness or something, him and I would converse. You guys wouldn't
can't
understand.
exactly have subtitles or closed captioning on radio, can you?
No,
we're working on that.
We could, but Lytham St Anne's or Kiowa, I would say that one of those, in my opinion, and that can be useless as far as these guys are concerned, but Lytham St Anne's, is that the number one in your sort of back pocket?
Well, I mean, I've always fancied that I could compete in a British Open. I've never really given myself a chance going into this Sunday.
Hold on. Open Championship.
Way to go.
Oh, that's
British Open.
There we go.
I'm trying to be politically correct.
You were trying to Americanize it.
Well done, Graham. My new favorite tour.
The British
player.
Open stroke the Open Championship. The Open Championship. I've always figured I could compete in one of those with my links upbringing, back in Portrush, Northern Ireland. So Lytham, I haven't been to Lytham in maybe 10, 12 years. I'm excited to go back there. I know it has a lot of bunkers. That's the only thing I can remember. But 365 bunkers, one for every day of the year or something like that. But excited about that. Obviously back to the West Coast Olympic Club for the US Open. The West Coast was pretty good to me in 2010 with with my win at Pebble and obviously my win at Sherwood Forest. So the West Coast is a happy hunting ground for me as well. So I love the way the major's set up for me this year. I just need to work out how to hit a draw to get around Augusta. That's my number one priority in April. I need to speak to the Billy Bona there and see if he can.
Oh, he's got a draw. I'm sure you've seen it by now.
Well, I haven't actually. I've only seen the 30-yard left to right.
No bananas driver. Let Graham play that.
Yeah,
you can draw.
That's long gone.
You're playing for real now.
Graeme McDowell joining us on the leaderboard. Graeme, I want to go back to the Ryder Cup in just a second, but we talked about Portrush, which is where you're from. You have to be excited that the Irish Open will be there this year.
For sure. I mean, the announcement was made last Friday. The European Tour taking the Irish Open back to the north coast of Ireland. First time it's been in Northern Ireland, I think, since the 50s. So very exciting, really. I mean, myself and Darren and Rory have obviously been very, very much behind Northern Irish golf and doing some good things the last couple of years. So we're very excited to take the Irish Open, the Royal Portrush, and growing up there, it's always been a dream of mine to play a big event. We obviously the Open Championship was played there in '51, and that's maybe a distant dream, but the Irish Open's a great start for us, and the links there at Portrush, I definitely regard it as probably the best layout in the world. They made some great changes to it the last few years, and really up the yardage up to close to 7,200 yards. Really trying to modernize it and get it tournament ready. And I'm very, very, very proud that the European Tour is going to come there next year. I'm going to be definitely looking forward to that event. It's a highlight in my schedule, and pretty excited about that.
You talk about playing 2 Ryder Cups, one on American soil at Valhalla. Of course, the great Ryder Cup for you, 2010 at Celtic Manor. Do you get the sense, and I don't mean to disparage anybody when I ask you this, do you get the sense that it matters just a little bit more, if not to the European players, but to the European fans when it comes to the Ryder Cup, because of the history and because of the turnaround and what Seve brought to it? Do you sense there's just a little bit more passion on the European side?
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure if the President's Cup perhaps waters down how the Americans feel about the Ryder Cup.
And that's a good point, because they have to play every year.
I had this conversation with Phil Mickelson in Singapore there a few months ago, and we were talking about it, and he's played in every President's Cup and Ryder Cup since the mid-90s. And, he made the point that it maybe means a little bit more to us Europeans, because we only get, one shot at every couple of years. And he said that, it means so much to us that they let us win one every now and again to make us feel better about ourselves. Of course, I mean, the Ryder Cups became such a huge event. The teams are right up for it. It's highly, highly competitive these days. I mean, obviously back in the 70s and 80s, it was a bit of a walkover, but the 90s and the 2000s have been a different story. And I think with the young blood here in the States, I think there's some great young players coming through. I really do think that there's a bit of a sort of revolution of American players coming to the fore who are going to win events all over the world, and I think they're up for it. I think they're excited about the Ryder Cup and what it means, and I think that that's why I want to be part of it in Chicago this year, because I think it's going to be a great Ryder Cup, and looking forward to the future. I think it's getting nothing but stronger and stronger and better, a better event.
One more question with Graeme McDowell before we take a break. Given what it means to you, to your teammates, to the European golf fans, I remember watching you stand over that putt on 16 in the singles match against Hunter Mahan, and I said to myself, I can't imagine what's going through his head, what this must be like, the pressure. Can you verbalize it? Was there anything going through your head? Was it white noise? I mean, obviously you're focused on the putt because you made it.
Yeah, I really don't remember my thought process much. I remember my thought process for the sort of 6 or 7 holes leading up to that, because it was the most nerve-wracking 6 or 7 holes of my life. And I remember my caddy trying to calm me down and talk sense into me, and I was like, I'll tell you what, if you're feeling that relaxed, you can hit the next tee shot. It was tough, and I managed to somehow sort of settle myself down on 16. I remember Monty coming across to me, and obviously when Ricky Fowler just hold that putt on 18 green against Eduardo Molinari, and
tighten things up a little bit.
Just kind of made things a little interesting, shall we say. And Monty was looking very nervous and told me that I had to win my point, and that kind of settled me down a little bit. It focused me, made me. I hit a great 6-iron into 16 and left myself. How long was that putt? 40 feet, 30 feet? It was probably more like 12 feet, to be honest. But
it looked like 30 to me at the time.
It was just one of those.
Was it 12? I looked a little more, 12, 14.
Yeah,
I think it was 12.
Kind of in that 12, 15 feet window. It was a downhill putt. I mean, I didn't have to worry about speed. It was just kind of a get it going type putt, and having played that course so many times, I kind of knew the way the green broke, and it was just kind of one of those magical putts that I don't remember much about it at all. But it was, like I say, one of the most elated moments and emotional moments I've ever had on a golf course.
That's 2010 U.S. Open winner Graeme McDowell. More with GMAC after this quick break. You're listening to the Leaderboard on ESPN. We broadcast from the patio of the Celebration Town Tavern. Stream live globally at ESPNFlorida.com. More golf after these words.
There's a town in Florida where the sun shines warm and unique family events keep it cool. It's a place where you can live it up just by sitting down. It's the Celebration Town Center, a quaint lakeside promenade where getting around is as much fun as getting there. Renowned for its world-class restaurants and shopping, it's all nestled in the harmony of nature in a setting like no other. Celebration, Florida. You've got to see this place. For more information on Celebration Town Center, visit us on the web at celebrationtowncenter.com.
Wilson Staff owns 61 majors, more than any other golf company in the history of the sport. For 2011, we introduce an entire lineup of Wilson Staff premium golf equipment. From DI-11 distance irons in the game improvement category to the players' classic forgings, the FG62s, Wilson Staff has an iron for every player. Round out your bag with a Wilson Staff DXI driver and woods, FG tour wedges, and the visor putter. Ask the best players that play the game. 3-time major champion Padraig Harrington and PGA Tour star Ricky Barnes play Wilson Staff because Wilson's commitment to the game is extraordinary. To find out which staff player you are, visit our new website at wilsongolf.com.
Whether it's the game of golf or the game of life, there are rules. The Wheelock Law Firm can help you when you find yourself in a difficult or life-changing situation. Don't get penalized because you didn't know the rules. Make sure you have experienced representation in your corner. The Wheelock Law Firm will aggressively represent you and your rights in divorce, bankruptcy, foreclosure, wills, and criminal matters. The Wheelock Law Firm provides prompt, cost-effective, and personal service. Visit their website at wheellocklawfirm.com or call them at 407-648-5742 to schedule a consultation. The Wheelock Law Firm. Your problems are personal, and so are we.
If you play golf in Central Florida, check out the team at CGM, Celebration Golf Management. They now own 5 courses locally, including Celebration Golf Club, where they're building a new teaching and fitting center, Legends Golf and Country Club, with new membership opportunities. Stony Brook West has bunker renovations and unbelievable course conditions. Kings Ridge has a newly lengthened Kings course, and their latest acquisition to the CGM team is the Golden Bear Club at Keens Point, where there are some amazing membership opportunities. If you want to play some of the top golf courses in Central Florida, get up there, play one of the CGM courses today. Check out these guys at cgmgolfproperties.com or give them a call at 1-888-2-PLAY-18. CGM, creating golf memories.
You're listening to the Leaderboard, presented by Carl Black Chevrolet Buick GMC.
They roll out that red carpet for you?
They did, absolutely.
I'll walk around and I'll ask my employees every now and then. I just want to make sure these two guys brought their red carpet with them today. They're taking care of it.
Yes, sir. They're doing a good job.
Is your A game with you today as far as taking care of the customers? What it means is
I will always strive to make
each and every guest
feel like they are the most valuable member of our family.
Because they are.
Because they really are.
It's the red carpet treatment.
Carl Black Chevrolet Buick GMC, located a quarter-mile west of Alafaya Trail on Highway 50. CarlBlackofOrlando.com.
I'm Jim Cook, brewer and founder of Samuel Adams, here to bust a beer myth. A lot of people think head on a beer is a bad thing. Not true. A rich, creamy head is one mark of a great beer. And the head on a Samuel Adams Boston Lager is so thick, you could float a bottle cap on it. That rich foam makes it taste like the first draw off a fresh keg. Ah, delicious. Samuel Adams.
Boston Beer Company, Boston, Mass.
This is how we do it. This is how we do it.
Welcome back to the Leaderboard, presented by Carl Black Chevrolet Buick GMC. Our special guest tonight, 2010 U.S. Open champion and European Ryder Cup hero, Graeme McDowell. We are here with you until 8. After us, LSU, Alabama in the BCS National Championship game. G-Mac, you went to Alabama, Birmingham. Where's your rooting interest tonight in this football game?
Yeah, I for that reason. We were about 2 hours up the road from Tuscaloosa, and we used to quite enjoy beating up Auburn and Alabama.
All the time.
At golf, I might add, as opposed to anything else. So I'm finding it hard to pull for Alabama tonight, I have to say. My college golf coach was an LSU alumni, so the first game I ever went to was LSU Mississippi State in Death Valley at LSU. So
good one.
I'm probably pulling for LSU tonight, I have to say.
Fair enough. We'll look ahead to the week in golf. Before we get to next week, right now, Steve Stricker leads by 2 over Martin Laird, Webb Simpson, and Jonathan Bird. Stricker playing 15 at the Hyundai Tournament of Champions. You can catch that on Golf Channel. But don't go away. Don't go over there until 8. There's plenty of golf left. Stick around, listen to G-Mac. As we look ahead on the PGA Tour next week, the Sony Open Wailea in Honolulu. Mark Wilson picked up the first of his 2 wins at this event last year. You can check it out on Golf Channel. Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern, first round coverage. I'm sorry, that's 7 p.m. Eastern, not 4. Thursday at 7 for first round coverage. And on the European Tour, the Joburg Open, Charles Schwartzel, or as we like to call him here, Chuck, as we can't agree on how to correctly pronounce his name, is the 2-time defending champion in Johannesburg. First round coverage also on Golf Channel. That's Thursday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. Now, we mentioned that it's Sergio Garcia's birthday today, G-Mac. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to ask you if you know specifically where we might find Sergio this evening, but in general, what do you think Serge might be doing for his birthday tonight? Little table tennis, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, Serge is, I'm not sure if he likes a few beers. I'm sure he likes a couple, but I don't think he's a particularly big drinker. Not sure where Serge is in the world at the minute, but I mean, I know he's a huge football soccer.
He's
massive
football, G-Mac.
Now you're a Manchester United guy.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
And Serge is what, Real Madrid?
He's a huge Real Madrid fan.
Real Madrid.
Yeah.
What's going on with Man U this year?
They're struggling a little bit. Yeah? Big result for us at the weekend. They're beating Man City 3-2.
And your boy Poulter is an Arsenal guy.
He's an Arsenal fan.
You guys must have added a little bit, no?
Yeah, I mean, he has had nothing really to brag about the last few years. So
true.
I was going to say he's been quite quiet, but Poulter's never quiet, as you know. But we have some good times. He texts it. He gets very emotional.
On that note, with Ian Poulter, he turns 36 tomorrow.
What might Poltz do for his birthday tomorrow?
Poltz,
or will you be involved by any chance?
I haven't had any birthday invitations.
No invite from him. No, you need to get on the Twitter.
I know he got himself a birthday present. He's got himself a little new car there.
You mentioned G-Mac should be on Twitter. He's got 278,000 followers, JP. How many you got?
7.
28.
78. I didn't mean to say he should get on Twitter. If he wants to know where Poltz is going to have the birthday celebration, and your last birthday,
we actually did that today. We're trying to work. We saw Poltz going by us in the car. We're trying to work out if it was him, and someone said, "Well, jump on Twitter, and you should be able to find out where he's at. You'll know where he's at." You know, he pretty much tells us where he's eating, what he's doing, when he goes to the bathroom, et cetera, et cetera.
Westy's pretty good for the food tweets as well.
Westy gets into it with the boys. He's pretty fun on Twitter, and if you're not following him out there, you should follow the lads. They have a good bit of banter, shall we say.
When did you decide the Twitter revolution was for you, and why?
I got on Twitter probably a couple of years ago. I sort of missed the boat by about a year. Obviously Poltz and a few of the guys who get in there early.
He's killing it.
They got a lot of followers, but I'd heard about it. I'm kind of one of these guys. When the new iPhone comes out, I tend to wait about 6 months and just kind of.
Me too.
I like to just kind of.
These guys think of the most technologically ignorant person.
This
in
is
the world.
Fred Flintstone. Okay. He's still got 2 cans and a string in his house.
You seen the Progresso soup commercial? That's me.
I'm all about kind of canvases and just to see if something actually is what it's kind of cracked up to be. So I'm kind of a little slow on the uptake on. I wouldn't say I'm a technical dinosaur. I like my gadgets, but I also like to make sure something's good. So I kind of listened and watched and kind of got a feel for Twitter before I jumped on there. And like I say, I took the plunge a couple of years ago, and I certainly don't let it rule my life like some of the guys do. But of course, it's a very important tool for us to interact with our fans, give them a little bit of an inside the ropes kind of perspective of what goes on the tour, and certainly I think it's a great tool for us to like I say, just kind of communicate and perhaps give our sponsors and people we're involved with a little bit of exposure, and like I say, just kind of stay in touch with the fans. Really, that's the most important thing for me.
I think you handle it properly, and I'm not going to name names of who doesn't. I think you've covered some of them. One that really surprises me is Stuart Sink. He's got 1.2 million fans, and he'll tell you just about everything. Playing floor hockey in the basement, and things that I guess are interesting a couple times, but he tells you exactly how the game went. That's a bit much, right? You got to be sort of selective in what you tweet, I would think.
For sure. I think. I'm surprised when some of the guys kind of get a little bit into their private life and inside of the personal life and stuff. And I think certain things are to be kept private. And I certainly like to tweet things that people might find interesting. I'm certainly not going to say, hey, drinking a pint of Sam Adams here with the Leaderboard Radio team.
That'd be okay with us.
That'd be great.
I did already tweet that anyway. So no, but like I say, things that my fans are going to find interesting, I'm going to tweet, and if I don't think they're going to find interesting, I'm just not going to tweet it.
Well, that's a good rule of thumb. If you don't even find it interesting, what you're doing, why would you tell anybody else?
If I'm bored typing it, then it's a definite sign that my fans are not going to like it. So that's my rule of thumb.
Graeme McDowell joining us on the leaderboard. Let me steer it back to golf for just a second and the Chevron. Tiger Woods wins his own event this year. You won it the year before. Let me just get your thoughts on that win for him and what you think maybe it means to golf.
I'm kind of one of these guys who are in the camp that Tiger's great for golf and we need him back. And it's a great story to have him winning a tournament again. When it comes to these short field events, inverted commas, is it an official event? Is it a big win? Is it an official win? This and that and the other. If it's an 18-man field, typically 10 of the guys are not taking it very seriously, but the 6 or 8 guys who are up the business end on the weekend.
It's a strong field. It's not just some random 18 guys.
For sure. The 6 or 8 guys who are up the business end on the weekend, they're treating it like a regular event, and especially, when I beat Tiger in 2010 down the stretch, it was pretty much a 2-horse race most of the weekend. We were kind of, 3 or 4 shots ahead of the rest of the field, and it was a bit of a shootout. And, for me, to be taking Tiger Woods on the weekend at an event was an experience, and I certainly banked that experience as one of my more notable victories. And I took a lot of confidence and a lot of momentum away from that, and I look back. I'll look back fondly on that one for the rest of my career for sure. But to see Tiger winning, like I say, it's great for golf. It's a great story. What's going to happen when he tees it up? When is the first event he's coming back? Is he AT&T?
AT&T, yeah.
He's going to play Abu Dhabi?
Abu Dhabi.
Yeah. Oh, of course he is. I'm playing Abu Dhabi also, so we'll see him there. I think it's great. Everyone's kind of waiting with bated breath just to see what he's going to be like in 12. And like I say, I'm a guy who thinks that Tiger Woods is golf, still is golf, and will be for a few years to come. So it's exciting to have him back and hopefully playing well. Not too well, obviously, but great to have him back.
How old were you? Where were you in your golf life? when you remember your first exposure and first, I guess, consciousness about Tiger?
It was probably, the 90, whatever his first Masters was, I suppose.
97.
96, 97.
Right.
We were, I guess, growing up in Ireland, we weren't sort of the Golf Channel era. It was back when golf was kind of so big time and all over the TV. Where you could watch every event in the planet, on Sky Sports,
right.
our equivalent cable back there and stuff. And I guess 97. And I mean, to have watched him for the last 15 years and had the opportunity to play with him, a lot. My first year of my career in 2002, I played with him. Played with him many times since, and just to watch. Obviously, it's been an interesting story. The last 2 or 3 years has been very interesting to watch. I guess his demise a little bit. Watch.
Oh, it was a demise, all right.
It was certainly a demise, and to watch him obviously trying to come back and how technically bad he's been playing. The last couple of years, and to play with him a little bit. The start of 2011, when he was hitting some interesting shots. I played with him in Doral, and he hit a few interesting ones. And to imagine what he was doing with the golf ball in the early 2000s to what he actually is now, and just to see where he's going to go from here. So it's exciting. It's I'm under no illusions that Tiger has made the game extremely financially lucrative for the rest of us, and we're very thankful for him. And of course, we respect what he's done for the game of golf.
So you go from basically your first consciousness of Woods in 97, 5 years later you're playing with him, and then you've got these two putts. Well, the one putt you had to make at Chevron. It's you and it's him, and you're on the green, and again, you got to make this putt. Not only do you make the first one, you make the second one. What's that like for you, to win that event, to beat him like that in his own event?
Yeah, that was fun. I mean,
understatement?
The only way to describe it, it was funny because it wasn't until the next day when I saw, it might be that evening, after I'd just flown back to Orlando. I think we hit our local for a few beers, and Sports Center's on, and I see the replay of him giving it loads and fist pumping in the fairway. I didn't know that happened. It was interesting. Made me feel even better about it afterwards.
The shot he hit in there, 18 in regulation, was a damn good golf.
Hell of a shot he hit in there, and it looked like the Tiger of old, and he's going crazy and fist pumping the hell about in the fairway. And obviously to hold that putt to get him into the playoff was very exciting. Stevie's there with the bib off. It's kind of
okay. We were going to ask you about that since you brought it up.
Graeme, I was in the tap room at Pebble at the time. You hold the first putt, and I was with one of our sponsors, Wilson Sports, general manager. And of course, I give it the whatever yeehaw, on yourself, G-Mac. And Stevie takes off the bib, and then so forth. And you don't need to comment on what I'm going to ask you, but how did you actually feel when he took off that bib before you hit that putt?
Yeah, I mean, Stevie takes the bib off in the 18th green. That's kind of a Stevie thing to do, and
as he does,
it's a little, I think it's a little disrespectful, but it is what it is, and.
Did you say to yourself, right up yourself or something like that?
Yeah,
or?
I mean, I think there was a few quotes flying around that I'd kind of hold the putt and walked over to him and said, Stevie, put that bleeping big bib back on again. The guy's about 6'2", and he's built, and I definitely wouldn't mess with a guy that size,
Doesn't matter. You're from Ireland, so
but the bottom line is,
I could have taken him. I was pumped up, So
the bib went back on.
Listen, whatever happened, the bib went back on, and the rest is history. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I mean, the Chevron is it's a very fun event. It's a short field. Everyone's pretty chilled out, but it's not very chilled out when you're coming down the stretch on a Sunday afternoon playing for $1.2 million.
And it's world ranking points as well.
It's world ranking points, and it was definitely some icing on the cake in my 2010. It was something I'll look back on fondly.
Graeme McDowell is joining us on the leaderboard. We're going to have a conversation on this end of the table. Just excuse us for a minute, JP and Kenny. There's a move afoot in golf.
I know
it's going to affect the Ryder Cup selection process. There's a new rule that's being considered, Graeme. I'd like to know what your opinion is. If you've gone to college being a European or a
Don't
UK-based
listen to
player.
them.
If you got a college in the States, you'll be playing now for the
They
U.S.
want you
How
and
do you
Luke
feel about
Donald
that?
and Paul Casey. They want them all on the American team.
I think it'd be all right, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I can't see that going down very well. But, no.
Well, listen, I'm going to bail you out of that, and I'd like
Billy.
to just speak for a moment on global travel. We watched you last year, and I watched you a lot more intently cross the globe towards the end of the season. I mean, I saw your schedule from, it was probably October through mid-December, and how do you physically go from time zone to time zone week to week?
Yeah, I think I counted it up. I was close to 100 hours in the air the last few months of my season last year, and it gets tough. I played 7 in a row to finish the year. I mean, thankfully there were some nice fun events in there towards the end of the season. The World Cup of Golf, and I played with Rory, and Sun City, which was a short-man field, a 12-man field in South Africa. Played a nice event in Japan, and then obviously the race to Dubai. So I had a heavy schedule towards the end of the season, but it's all down to my supreme physical fitness, the shape I'm in. Yeah, right.
Why are the people at your table laughing?
Yeah, that's my trainer sitting over there right now. He saw me in the gym this morning, and he knows that I'm not supremely fit, so he can definitely comment on that. But no, I mean, obviously jet lag and dealing with 14, 15, 16-hour flights. It really is all about preparation, making sure you get there as soon as you possibly can. If we tee it up on a Thursday, if I have a long flight ahead of me, I don't like to land, any later than Monday afternoon, to give myself 3 nights to try and recover. Waking up at 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning, staring at the ceiling. Jet lag can be a killer sometimes, but staying off the red wine on the flight is they tell me great to avoid jet lag. I wouldn't know because it's my sleeping pill. Getting there, obviously getting onto the right time zone, eating at the right times, jumping into the gym, they tell me is good. I have no idea about that either. But no, I mean, obviously plenty of water, working out, get the body firing. I mean, it takes its toll. 7 in a row is something I very rarely do. I've done it a few times, only at the end of the year. 3, 4, 5 in a row is my maximum. Before my head spins off and rolls down the road, and that's the end of me for a couple of weeks. But there's no doubt. I mean, as European Tour players, we travel a lot, and you've got to get used to that. And it definitely you have your own little techniques. I mean, we have the luxury sometimes of flying business class, and getting some nice flatbeds and getting some sleep and eating well, and hopefully getting to the other side in decent shape. But it's tough. There's no doubt about it. I mean, these PGA Tour boys have it easy.
Well, you're a young guy, so it only gets worse, right, JP?
As far as I know, that's what you tell me, Billy. It is. Graeme McDowell joining us on the leaderboard. Just a few minutes left, Graeme, but I want to talk to you about your win at the U.S. Open, and then, of course, Rory's win at the U.S. Open at Congressional, and Clarkie's win. You guys are all tight. Let me start with Darren Clark and his win. The window was starting to close. When he won the British Open Championship, what went through your mind? I mean, you had to be just ecstatic for him.
Yeah, I was very happy for him. I mean, Darren Clark is an extremely talented player. He's kind of the guy, he was in danger of being an underachiever, no doubt about that. He was getting to the twilight of his career, and it looked like he wasn't going to probably have the resume that he should have had. He was a fantastically talented ball striker, always had been. Putting was a little suspect. If he putted well, he generally won. If he putted badly, he didn't really contend. But great to see him doing it. I mean, it was an emotional victory. I mean, what he's been through in his life the last 5-6 years of the death of his wife, and just everything he's gone through, and being a single parent, and all of the above, really. And I mean, just great. I mean, just a one for the ages, really, and just one just kind of. Just another one to prove that you just never know in this game of golf what's around the corner. Into your 40s, looking like he was maybe done, and all of a sudden you just have that day, that weekend. I mean, the weather that weekend. He kind of got a bit of a break. The weather on Saturday morning and
right
Saturday lunchtime.
Happens all the time.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, that's being in the lead. You play late, and you got to take the rough with the smooth, and that's the beauty of golf. But that was great. It was an emotional victory, and I was very, very happy to see it.
Real quick, Rory's win at Congressional. Obviously, you took him under your wing. Did someone do that for you?
Darren did kind of early in my career. When I started to play well, I wasn't so much under his wing anymore. When you're competing with a guy, it's tough for him to be under. You keep you under his wing. So Darren.
He might be telling you the wrong thing.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. A few pointers here and there. A few great restaurants to go eat in cities and the odd practice run here and there. But Rory, Rory and I. The relationship, lots been made of it. Is it a big brother, little brother relationship? What is it? Is it just a best? We're more like best friends than anything, and I learn a lot from him, and he learns the old thing from me, perhaps. As the old, I feel like an old veteran around him. I'm 32 years old, and 10 years older than Rory. He makes me feel like an old timer, and I watch him play the game of golf, which he makes look very easy, and he shows me what's possible with a golf ball, and. Perhaps he learns something from my preparation, the way I go about my job, and great to see him win at Congressional after what happened at Augusta to him. That back nine was sickening to watch because you see a young guy with all the talent in the world, and you see how hard this game of golf can be, and for him to come back at a Congressional and just blow the field away. If I wasn't going to defend my title, my U.S. Open title, there's no one really else that I would like to have won the trophy but him.
Hey, Graeme, a quick one for you. Do you think anyone will ever celebrate winning the Open Championship as good as DC did?
Probably not. I mean,
he set the bar pretty high.
It was beautiful. I tuned in Monday morning and watched him give a few interviews on Sky Sports, and he was definitely still drunk. Definitely still drunk.
Well, that was Graeme McDowell, 2010 U.S. Open winner, joining us on the patio of the Celebration Town Tavern. Thanks, Graeme. We appreciated all of that.
Thank you, Matt.
Join us again next week. I got to say a quick word to Owen and Emma in the Toronto area. Thanks for tuning in. And Sammy Sofa, get off the sofa. Join us again next week to hear more golf news and interviews from around the globe. Until then, for Bill Bona, JP Marks, and Kenny Nairn, my name is Ian Davies. Thanks for tuning in. More golf next week.
The views and opinions expressed on the leaderboard or on any linked websites are strictly those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and do not necessarily reflect those of our sponsors, ESPN 1080 AM, or Genesis Communications.
For more information regarding the leaderboard, or if you wish to join us as a corporate sponsor, please contact me, Bill Bona, at bbona@mac.com, or call 407-702-3794. Thanks for listening to The Leaderboard.